It is a jungle out there. And Coach, probably one of my favorite authors of all time, is writing this week about the haves and the have-nots. And that train of thought's been on my mind actually quite a bit. I'm at work right now. I'm on break. I'm at pace, and if my math is right, and usually it's always right, I'm working 51 out of 65 consecutive hours. And that includes travel time to and from the workplace. So out of 65 hours, I'm working 51 of them, which is quite a few, And maybe that might send a message that I'm greedy or desperate for money or having troubles, or I'm so desperately want to become a have instead of a have not. But that's not true. It's not true. I just need some distraction from the home front and thinking about grandma. So coming to work and doing some writing and getting paid for it, I mean, it just seems to be a smart thing to do. I don't know if Coach gets paid to write for the paper. I'm guessing he does. He writes an article every week, and I don't know if he makes an honest living using his wits and his pen to make the world a better place, but I hope so. I'd like to see Coach fall into the category of the haves instead of the have-nots. But the interesting point of Coach's article today, and once again I stole from the state of Wisconsin by making photocopies of this article. I probably could have just took the newspaper, but that would have been stealing too. Is he talked about the jungle, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this. We read The Jungle in, where does that say? We read The Jungle in sophomore English at Oshkosh High. Now my camera quality is not so great, and the light is not so great inside of Honor 1 at 3 in the morning. It's like just after 3 in the morning. But The Jungle is a book that I read in high school as well, I believe as a freshman. And it's a very sad story about a very strong man named Jurgis that worked himself basically to death trying to become a have. You know, he was a have-not. He was a have-not that worked and worked and worked to try to become a have. And it's a lot of overtime lately at work, just tons of it. So there's a lot of people that are putting in a lot of hours, you know, trying to, for some reason or another, trying to, you know, better themselves by working harder to earn more money. And it's kind of funny because whenever I think of The Jungle, it makes me think of my other English teacher. This was my composition teacher, but the father of one of my ex-friends is the teacher that made me read The Jungle. So as I'm working all these hours and reading about the jungle in the newspaper, it makes me think of my other teacher and my old ex-friend, and how you want everybody that you know and you love to be a have, you know. And the thing is, the word have and have not is kind of a arbitrary, you know. If you make $50,000 a year, are you a have? If you make a $250,000 a year, are you a have? I've heard somewhere that if you make $250,000 a year, you are rich. You are a have, you know. And then people that make one less zero than that, $25,000 a year, you know, maybe they're the have-nots. And that's just, I really don't think that's the case, because compared to the rest of the world, with, you know, all the population, we're talking everybody in Africa and China and India, everybody pretty much in America is a have. And there are exceptions to that, of course, and part of my life's ambition is to make sure that the have-nots in history of America are not forgotten. The most powerful, most enlightened, the best nation in the world. How can we have homeless soldiers on the streets of our country? It's just not good. But I'm a little bit tired. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've worked all these hours, and it hasn't been easy work at all. It's not like I'm, just sitting back and relaxing. No, we've had, and I can't talk about these events that have been happening because I guess that's illegal because of client confidentiality. But it's been an amazingly hectic 3 days, and 20 minutes of just relaxing in the back of my minivan underneath some orange blankets is just what the doctor ordered. But even though my body is going to be resting, my mind won't be. I have a lot on my mind. And I'm happy to say that I think, I'm hoping Grandma's sleeping well tonight, but there are other fish to fry. And it's time for me to focus on those have-nots and maybe on history as well.